Hi everybody, Refresh here. I am back to take a look at Ultra Pro's board game sleeves, sized for standard American gaming cards, and this packaging says that it'll fit games like Munchkin and Flux. These sleeves come 50 sleeves to a pack, and a pack of these will run you at MSRP $2.99, so that makes each sleeve about 6 cents. Let's take a look at what's inside. As you can see, Ultra Pro sleeves are smooth, clear, and glossy on both sides. And Ultra Pro features a little hologram in the upper right hand corner of the sleeve. So that's a distinguishing feature of Ultra Pro. Some of you will not like this hologram, and some of you won't mind this hologram. But it's there, and you should know that it's there before you buy Ultra Pro sleeves. Let's measure out how thick these sleeves are. Okay, for 50 sleeves, it looks like it comes in at about 1 centimeter thick. That is going to be your standard 200 microns per sleeve, or 100 microns each face. Let's see what the rest of the dimensions are. About 59 millimeters wide, and I would say it's about 91 millimeters long. It seems like it's pretty standard for length and width of sleeves for standard American cards. Let's see how it fits. What I have here is a Munchkin treasure card. I'll stick it inside the sleeve. Looks like a pretty good fit. There's a nice little bit of space around the sides and a little bit of space at the top, but not an overwhelming amount. So it looks pretty good. It's now time for the sleeving test. What I'm going to do is take these 45 Munchkin treasure cards, and I'm going to sleeve them in 45 of these 50 sleeves from Ultra Pro, and we'll see how long it takes using my timer on my phone here. So, ready, set, go. Alright, that took 2 minutes and 3 seconds. Pretty decent time there. And that will average out to about 2.73 seconds per sleeve, which is pretty good. It's not amazing, but it's not bad either. It's probably right in the middle of the pack. And now that all the cards are sleeved, we can take a look at the sleeves themselves and their uniformity. It looks like the height and width of all the sleeves are pretty good here. They're all just very mildly warped, but it's not really that much of a concern. But I do like that, you know, everything seems pretty uniform. The sleeves feel pretty sturdy in your hand. The one thing that I will note is that some of the sleeve openings are a bit larger than some of the other sleeve openings, as you can see here. And I think that is related to the mild warping that happens on these sleeves, but it does mean that several of your sleeved cards might have loose openings. And that means that there is a chance that, you know, somebody that's not adept in shuffling could accidentally put a sleeved card into another sleeve while they're shuffling, or in handling that might happen. And that also means that there is space for dust, hair, or other things to get into the tops of these sleeves. And what's more, it does mean that, you know, in the event of a liquid spill, the liquid will probably go right on in and reach the top edge of the card pretty easily in a case where the opening doesn't really seal closed after its opening. But it's not every sleeve. As you can see, some of these sleeves close a little better than others, but they're all still somewhat open, and I think that might be endemic to sleeves that don't have a lot of space between the top edge of the card and the opening of the sleeve. So there's that to consider. But otherwise, I do think that these feel pretty good and they look pretty uniform, aside from the mild warping of the sleeves and the openings of the sleeve. And it looks like there are 5 sleeves left, so we got exactly what we paid for here. Next up, what I'm going to do is the shuffle test. So I will shuffle these 45 sleeved Munchkin treasure cards 100 times and see how long that it takes, and I will report on that. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Shuffling these 45 sleeved cards 100 times took 2 minutes and 8 seconds. And that averages about 1.28 seconds per shuffle, which is a pretty respectable speed. And as you can see, even during that amount of time that it took me to shuffle, I did end up dropping a few cards here and there because sometimes the sleeves had a sort of bounce off issue when you were mass shuffling where, you know, if you hit it wrong, the sleeves would just jump off of each other because the edges would hit the wrong way. But, you know, it only happened a couple times, and sometimes, you know, my hands were a little bit on the looser side when I was shuffling. So I don't really hold it against the sleeves per se. I think they shuffle quite well together. Taking a look at the sleeves now that I've shuffled them a few times, overall it looks like the sleeves are in pretty good shape. There's no real significant scuffing or no real significant damage of any sort to these sleeves, so they seem to have withstood at least 100 mass shuffles pretty well. I'm sure over time that the sleeves will eventually show wear as you shuffle them, but even the corners don't seem to be bent despite the fact that I've been jamming the corners into the sleeves. There are some messier edges. Now that I've shuffled them a few times, you can see that there's little plastic hairs hanging off the edge of some of the corners. But overall, I think that these are about typical when it comes to the better side of being durable for 100 micron sleeves. And since they feel pretty good shuffling together, I would say that these are a decent choice. Now I'm going to be doing the shake test, so I'm going to take this deck of 45 sleeved Munchkin cards and give the table that it's sitting on a nice 2-second shake and see if the deck holds together. Ready? Okay. So in about 2 seconds, the deck slipped a little, but it didn't fall. It doesn't seem to be inclined to fall either. And as you can see, I can push it about a bit and it takes an actual really awkward shape for it to fall down. Once it does start falling, it does fall pretty well, but even then, it holds together, as you can see, fairly well. So this should be fine in most gaming circumstances, and so that is a pass. Now I'll be doing a draw test, where I will draw 3 cards off the top of this 45 card sleeved Munchkin deck, and we'll see how well the deck holds together as I draw. Ready? Pretty good. There was a little bit sliding around, but as you can see, it's not really that big of a deal, and you really have to give it some work to make it fall apart. So I think for usability purposes, this is a pass for the draw test as well. And in the end, I would say that these Ultra Pro board game sleeves are pretty good when it comes to at least this American size. Again, like, they're not the most pristine sleeves. There are occasionally sleeves that have a little bit of plastic gunk that's still on them, and there's little hairs coming off the edge of some of these sleeves. So this isn't like, you know, your premium pristine quality sleeve, which is kind of sad considering the fact that, you know, it's slightly on the upper edge of the cost at 6 cents per sleeve, but they perform quite well. They shuffle well. They draw well, they don't fall down when the table gets bumped. So that's all quite good, and I appreciate that these sleeves in particular are pretty consistent, and there's no real strangeness like there was with the Euro size sleeves. Now, I can't be for certain that this is going to be the case for every single pack of sleeves, and you know, the little bits and pieces that are off, like the plastic debris that's on some of these sleeves a little here and there. I don't know if that is indicative of problems with quality control or consistency across packs. So if you have a lot of experience with these Ultra Pro sleeves for standard American gaming cards, click on the link in the description box below, and there's a little survey that you can take. You can leave a note on how consistent you feel like your sleeves have been. Similarly, if you want, you can also click on that same description box, and there's another survey which will be for how durable your sleeves have been over use. So that's that. But in the end, I would say that these sleeves are pretty good. I don't think they're the best for the price that you're getting, just because you're paying a little bit more, and these sleeves don't have like the kind of polish that I would imagine that some of the better sleeves might have. But if you like this hologram and you have a good working experience with Ultra Pro, then I would not dissuade you from purchasing these. They are sufficient. The only real downsides, aside from the little bits and pieces of production quality that could be better, is that the openings of the sleeves tend to stay kind of open, which creates vulnerabilities for the cards, both in mishandling, where a sleeve will go into another sleeve and then, possibly damage the card by the corner of the sleeve, or, break the sleeve as it gets slid in the wrong way. And it also means that in case of spilled liquids, your cards are less protected, because the liquid will just go right on into that sleeve and hit the top edge of the card. For some of you, that's not a huge concern, and, the fact that the sleeves perform pretty well, and these sleeves are fairly available, will make you consider purchasing these sleeves in particular. Again, the hologram is something that some of you will hate and some of you will like, and that will drive you either towards or away from these, or you might not care. That's Ultra Pro. Not bad, not amazing, but a decent middle level sleeve for standard American size gaming cards. If this video was helpful to you, hit the like button for me, and that lets me know that you like what I'm doing here and to keep doing it. If you would like to see further reviews or evaluations of board game sleeves and other gaming related videos, you can subscribe to the channel. And I just want to thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.